A warm welcome to each one of you. Myself, Dr. Prafull Lakatkar, and I'm extremely grateful to the organizer for having me this opportunity to share information regarding this infectious disease. Perhaps it is at most need of time to have discussion to share information regarding this several infectious diseases, particularly the corona pandemics. In this lecture, we will have the information regarding various aspects of the infectious disease, their mode of transmission, prevention, controls, and the treatment. So, let's start with this lecture. We have to go back to the date where the several global pandemics have been occurred. A Black Death pandemic called bubonic plague. Over 200 millions of people have been wiped out from the planet, occurred in 14th century. The smallpox pandemics claiming 56 million lives, and then the Spanish flu. It was quite known to the human being. It occurred in the beginning of 20th century. Over 50 million people population have been wiped out. This pandemic, you can see this is the HIV infection is still present and have claimed about 35 million lives so far. Here is the COVID-19 pandemics. So far, up to the date, 93 lakhs of people have been died across the globe. Looking to the past certain global infections, the Black Death was the most devastating because it killed out around 20 to 40% of the whole populations. It is called Black Death because a ship started from the Black Sea, reached to the Sicilia, a part of Italy now, where all the men who suffered with certain infection, their whole body have become black. So they called it Black Death. Due to the lack of information, they called it as the curse of demons. Then in beginning of the 19th century, the Spanish flus. It was most one of the major infection occurred so far. The 50 million deaths have been occurred. It was started in the Europe and spread throughout the America and the Asian parts. In 1831, in Africa continent, mostly in Africa and Asia continent, the cholera pandemics was there. As 30% population of the world has been killed out. And now this is what it is actually a Crimean War photo. The Crimean War actually fought between the Russia and the Ottoman Empire, where the 10 times double population have been killed. During the World War II, mostly around 5 million people has been killed. So 10 times people has been killed during this Crimean War. So this Black Death has actually covered whole of the globes. Okay, each and every parts has been covered with this particular pandemics. Well, as the science progressed, we started knowing this infection, and this infection caused due to the bacteria. So at the beginning of 20th century, the scientists they have discovered antibiotics, vaccines, and started having the safe hygiene practice. Because of that, they have started controlling it anyhow. So as the science progress, okay, we can see the rate of infection or the death is actually gradually decreasing. Okay, this is because of the discoveries of certain antibiotics and the vaccines. Well, the people started knowing this infection and they called it as the microbes. Okay, the infection caused due to the microbes. They call it bacteria, virus, protozoans, fungi, and the helminths. Since even in the 21st century, we still have to fight with these microbes because these microbes they have the unique characteristics to survive in any condition. They have learned every trick for survival. Okay, it's because what they are the ancestor of this planet because they arrived 2 billion years before the humans. So perhaps they have more smarter than us. So in 21st century, we still have so many problems because the bacteria are coming every day. is because of the resistance. The maximum use of antibiotics cause them to produce certain resistance against it. The new pathogens, that is the mutation, creates the new varieties of the bacteria. Global warming causes or it actually helps in creating the new bacteria and the bioterrorisms. These are all actually the problems for the human. Apart from this, we have succeeded in creating several vaccines amongst the several infections. The smallpox vaccines, or it actually started eradication in the 1977, and in 1994 it has been completely eradicated from the Western countries. And it has a plan to remove this polio virus in next 5 years, mostly across the globe, and the measles in next 5 to 10 years. We have also created certain vaccines for the certain diseases. This is what the challenges still face because of the new varieties of the bacteria, less drug, then HIV, and then now this is the coronavirus. Because of the several other factors, the new diseases are coming every day. Okay, starting from the 1977 Ebola virus, which has been arisen, and now in 2003 the SARS coronavirus. Okay, so over the period of time, new diseases has been created. Not even a single part of the world remain untouched with this new emerging diseases. Okay, the whole world has been engulfed by these infections. Several millions death has been occurred worldwide in all ages. The major is what is the respiratory infection, mostly pneumonia and influenza, have claimed over 3 million lives so far. Then next most contributing is the AIDS. So it was actually the several deaths been occurred by this re-emerging diseases. These are all the different factors by which we have to take a concern about this. The AIDS, okay, creates several other syndromes. Population growth, more population, more infection, obviously. Speed and ease of travel, since the world is now a global cosmopolitan area where different physical mode of transmission makes people more closer and have created the chances of making more infection. Increased use of antibiotics, yes, they can create the mutations and then create a new disease. And these are all several different factors. So these are all what helps in contributing the new diseases across. So we have to classify this infectious disease by the three main parameters. Second is the duration, location, and the timing. So duration is what the infection, once the agent enters into the host, how long time it takes to create the certain symptoms. It is acute, chronic, and the latent. Then by the locations, whether it spread to a particular area of the body or whether it spread throughout the body. And by the timing, it is the one person is infected, that become primary, and the same primary person infect the another one, it becomes secondary. So still the new emergence of the diseases have made people to study this disease in a very different way, so that every country must have their own epidemiologic area. Since the new emergence of the disease, we have to study their distribution types, and then the causative agent, whether it's a new disease or not, then what kind of a control measures we can apply for this. This is all have to study under the epidemiology. Epidemiology is a part of medical study where particular distribution, pattern, the emergence, control, prevention, etc. of a particular disease can be studied. So this is it become more important. The triad of this particular epidemiology consists of host, agents, and the environment. Particularly, the environment is actually the media between the agent and the host that brings together. That means the agent will be come in contact with the host with the help of the environment. Well, different factors we have to see actually for this. The host, we have the seven different characteristics, maybe it regards. demographic, biological, and socio-economic agents which can cause a disease, particularly the microbes. It can be of a biological, physical, chemical, nutrient, mechanical, and the social agents. A factor of environment is actually the big one. So it is a physical, biological, and the social environment. So all these are particular characteristics of host agent and the environment are actually responsible for creating the infection. For me, uh, a socio-economic characters of a human, the host, is actually responsible for nowadays corona pandemic. See, particularly it says because of the eating habit of a Chinese people, mostly the seafoods and the particular extinct animals, they may comes under socio-economics. So eating pattern of a raw meat or animals can lead to a transfer of particular agents or a virus into the host. So that is more become more important. So the social environment is actually helping the viruses to enter into the host. There are certain terminology which are nowadays become more popular. Okay. Endemic is what is the infection occurs across the globe but in a smaller number. Okay, their number don't increase. Epidemic is restricted to a particular geological areas. Okay, number can be increased. Pandemic is what the area, the whole area covered with this disease, and then the increase, the number can be increased. So the transmission in case of endemic, uh, it occurs, but the number remain constant. Okay, that is the R is equal to 1. Epidemics is can be coming from the endemic where the number of the cases increases, and the pandemic when the whole global continents occurs with the increasing number of the infections. There are certain some terminologies that is called hyperendemic. Okay, well, it is actually the state where the incidence or the prevalence rate of infection affects every part of a group equally. Holoendemic is actually in fact mostly the child population, because the adult population become to reach to the state of equilibrium. So in case of malaria that generally occurs, it mostly infect the child population. Exotic diseases are what they are the imported to the country. Okay, they are not previously present, but uh, certain number of a population will travel from another country and then created the infection into that particular country. It become exotic disease. Mostly we have yellow fever in India. Now I can say the corona infection is also a kind of a exotic disease. Dynamics of transmission means how exactly a disease can be transmitted. Foremost, actually they need a source or a reservoir, that is the area from where the infection arises, then the way of transmission, and this particular transmission enters into the host. That is, I particularly written here the susceptible host because the susceptible host is actually prone to cause infection. Okay, so if the person immune with the has a strong immunity, is quite become sometimes difficult for to cause the infection to that person. We have a direct and indirect mode of transmission. Okay, in case of direct transmission, we have a direct contact, that is handshaking or hugging or etc. Droplet infection through the coughing or sneezing. Contact with the soil, inoculation, that is the blood transfusion or central mucosal transfusion. Transplacental, that is from mother to the infant. In case of indirect transmission of the disease, we have the vehicle-borne transmission, that is from the air or dust particles. Vector-borne, that is from the mosquitoes or flies. Airborne, that is the pollutions, dust particles, fomites, and the unclean hand practices. So these are all contributes to the transmission of the disease. So reservoir is actually the source from where the agents can free to move and cause the disease. Okay, so the reservoir, it can be human, animal, and the non-living things. Human reservoir is actually human itself can be uh, a mod to transfer the disease to the another human. Okay, so mostly their portal of exist can contribute to the several diseases like the infectious urine can cause typhoid, infection intestinal excreta can cause amoebiasis, the droplets, that is the respiratory droplet, can cause tuberculosis, and nasal exit causes diphtheria. Okay, so these are all human reservoir source of infection. Again, they can cause this number of particular diseases. Okay, so the corona infection is also one of the human reservoir. Okay, it's not actually initiated from the human, but human now become a carrier and spread to the another human. Okay. In case of animal reservoir, okay, it's a disease that transfer from animal to the human called zoonosis. Okay, so these are the number of different types of infections or a disease so far listed occurs into the human. Okay, we are much more known with this plague, rabies, okay, anthrax, brucellosis. Soil reservoir, mostly the bacteria in the soils. Okay, they can cause the diseases. We have this much number of the listed infection caused by the soil. Now we come to actually the topic of our lecture. There is the timeline of corona infections. Now in this particularly coronavirus, okay, the history is very recent. Okay, first it was investigated in late 1960s. So far we have different classes of these coronaviruses. Okay, here you can see the coronavirus, okay, has a 4 particular genus. There's alpha, beta, gamma and delta. Okay, and up till now we have 6 different types of coronaviruses have been recorded. Okay, now this SARS-CoV-2, that is COVID-19 virus, is actually the 7th one. It comes under the beta coronavirus. As I said, up till now we have 6 different types of coronavirus have been recorded. Okay, this SARS, which was occurred in 2002-3, and the MERS, okay, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. Okay, these are the 2 known coronavirus. Now the COVID-19 or the SARS-CoV-2, it is actually the 3rd members of this corona family. Coronavirus is actually the single strand positive sense RNA viruses. Okay, this is actually the first photograph of coronavirus taken in 1965. David Tyrnell he actually works on this coronavirus. He only have given this particular name to this virus, and these crown-like spikes, that is the area where they touch to the host, that is the spikes protein. Okay, because of this it called as a corona. It has several different infectious proteins which in a structure. All these proteins are actually contributing to the viral multiplication and the infection. Here we can see the particular structure of this, the 4 proteins. Spices actually makes contacts with the AC2 receptors on the human nucleic acid, actually protects the RNA, the membrane, the envelope, protects the whole structure. This is actually mostly burst with the use of disinfectant. That's why we have been asked to wash your hand frequently, and the viral genomes. The SARS was the first one noted coronavirus in the human history. The severe acute respiratory syndrome occurred in particularly South Asia Pacific areas, mostly Vietnam and China. They caused the respiratory failure and the pneumonia. Dr. Carl Urbani in 2003 is actually diagnosed a businessman who traveled from China to Vietnam Later, both they found diagnosed with the SARS, and unfortunately, both died from the illness. The SARS genome is actually very important because the SARS, MERS, and the COVID 19, all these viral genomes, they are very similar, particularly 90 to 92% they have similar genomes, mostly around 30,000 mRNA units. These particularly two open reading frame 1A and 1B are actually responsible for their replications and the transcription of the particular genes. Okay. In case of its epidemiology, total case of death was 774 death occurred. Okay. And India remained untouched from these infections. So this was first pandemic, but it was actually anyhow controlled and hardly last for only a year. Okay, so from the 2004 there is no case has been reported about this SARS infections. Well, in case of its transmission, it was confirmed that a main reservoir, that's a bat, okay, comes in indirect contact with the civet cat, and this civet cat has been in contact or eaten by the humans, and the humans then infect the another humans. That is what the chain. Okay, so anyhow, there are also evidence that the bat can directly transfer the disease to the humans. So it's actually the civet cat can be an amplifying host or the intermediate host that serves the infections to the humans. In case of its a particular life cycle, uh, it binds to the receptor ACE2 and through endocytosis enters into the host cell, and inside the host cell it uses its replication machinery, translation machineries in the order to make a new progeny virus. Perhaps it don't need to go inside the nucleus because they can translate their own genes from the ribosomes or endoplasmic reticulums. Well, the symptoms of this SARS, particularly mostly the pneumonia, where it causes difficulty in breathingness, headache, then coughing, fever, and flu-like other symptoms. Uh, for the treatment, since it was new, so it was probably took more time to decide which particular drug can be uh, effective against this. So they have used corticosteroids. This is what not was this drug was not so promising since it was used for the initial improvement. It is actually anti-inflammatory and immunosuppressive effects. Ribavirin has done quite good against this virus since it is a nucleoside analog. So it actually mimics the purine nucleotides into the virus RNA and stop its polymerization. So the particular viral replication stops and the virus cannot multiply. This actually these particular nucleotides is actually mimic, and this particular nucleotides enters into the strand of viral RNA and then stop the particular process. It was quite good and have a good results. Lopinavir and ritonavir. This actually again is a antiviral drug used already in the HIV infection. So it has a history of antiviral drugs. So they have used this lopinavir and ritonavir in a combination because one parameter increase the concentration of another drug. So it is actually a protease inhibitor, so it blocks the certain protease enzyme which are necessary for the viral replication. So once there is a blockage of the protease enzyme, the defective virus that produce which unable to cause the infections. Well, this is what the most promising, most acting drug, remdesivir. It is actually again a nucleoside analog. It acts as a RDRP inhibitor, means RNA dependent RNA polymerase. So this, when it enters into the host, it degrades into the nucleoside triphosphate, which competes with the adenine triphosphate. That is one of the nucleotides of the RNA genome. So this NTP instead of ATP. They binds to the RNA strand and terminate the synthesis of viral replication. Those are more promising drugs actually. So overall, in this summary, these two things we can actually see this. Total number of deaths is just 812, but the case fatality rate was 9.6. Still, we have no vaccines for this SARS. So, since there is no vaccine, then how this pandemic has been ended? This is still a matter of concern, because since the pandemic stopped very early, so all the research regarding the vaccines have been stopped that time, and the antiviral drug have certain promising effects, so it helps in letting go away this pandemic. Another was, this is the MERS, that is the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. This Middle East Respiratory Syndrome was reported in 2012 by an Egyptian scientist, that is the Ali Mohammed Zaki. Since, as its name implies, Middle East, that's mostly the Gulf countries. Starting from this Egypt and Saudi Arabia, it reaches to certain part of Europe and the Asia, that is particularly China and the USA, but there is hardly one or two cases have been reported. The transmission of this virus is actually occurs through an intermediate host, that is the camel. So the bat is the main reservoir. In direct contact with the camel in direct contact with the human, either through the flesh, meat, or a domestic purpose, it reaches to the human, and then human to human they have made the contact and the spread of the infection. So this is what exactly the transmission of this MERS coronavirus is, again the beta family coronavirus. Well, this MERS coronavirus life cycle is quite similar to the SARS life cycle, since it's entered into the host through endocytosis, uses machinery from ribosomes and the Golgi complex, reticulum, translates its genes, and through exocytosis is exits out of these cells and infect the other cells. Well, the symptoms are quite again similar with the SARS, mostly the pneumonia, having difficulty in breathness, headache, sore, coughing, and the fever. Treatment quite similar again. Mostly they use the protease inhibitor and RNA polymerase inhibitor. Mostly most promising drugs are remdesivir and the ribavirin. They found to have the history of treating the SARS, so they have used Agonate for the MERS, because it has remdesivir has the history for using it in for the HIV. So they found the promising effect for the treatment of this MERS. Again, this remdesivir is the RDP-RP inhibitor, which inhibits the RNA polymerase of the virus. Looking to these particular two things, total number of deaths is 866. Quite high rate for fatality rate, 34.3 than these SARS and coronavirus. Still, there is no vaccines. This is what more concern for us. The whole world now is staked at particular place where the whole activity has been stopped because of this global pandemic. SARS is what this COVID-2, it's a novel coronavirus. The first case was reported in November 2019 in the Hubei province of Wuhan city. Declared as a global health emergency on 30th January, quite late. COVID-19 name given by the WHO. This particular institute is supposed to be the place from which it has been emerged. There are so many theories behind this. This lady, you can see this, Shi Zhengil. This is also called a bat woman in China. She has worked with the bat coronavirus since last 15 years, and She has all the genomes deposited into this particular institute. And this is what Dr. Li Wenli Lang. This was the first to report the corona uh, emergence as a particular very infectious disease. Later on, he was silenced by the Chinese government, and then unfortunately, he was died of this infection. Looking to the global scenario, we have 89 lakhs of cases. This is reported on 23rd June, but as of now, today, there may be more than 95 lakhs cases. The 4 lakhs, more than 4 lakhs people have been died and have come across 216 countries overall. Looking to this particular area, after the lockdown in India, the infection still rises. Okay, that means the curve is getting raised. Looking at the other European countries, the curve is getting flat. In Italy, in Germany, in Spain as well. While in the United States, we still have very similar condition like the India. So in this case, maybe there may be a community transmission. Maybe we don't know. Uh, there are so many questions regarding this, whether the coronavirus, this COVID-2, is similar to the SARS or not. There are 90 to 90% similar, except they have certain different amino acids into their proteins. So around 380 amino acids have been substitution between these different types of coronaviruses. Well, transmission we all know, particularly the main reservoir was a bat through direct contact with the pangolin. Still, it is under question whether it is responsible for transmission into the human. We don't know because scientists didn't claim this. And from this intermediate host pangolin, it transferred to the human, and then human infect another human. So the transmission started like this. This is what the seafood market of the Wuhan, where the bats, raw bats, can be selling for the domestic purpose or for the food purpose. Pathogenesis, as we have seen with the previous two viruses, again with the AC2 membrane, the spikes protein binds, enters into the cell, use all replicationary, transcriptionary machineries, produce new progeny virus, and release out of the cells. Clinical illness is quite little bit different than the previous two coronavirus. In case of a severe complications, like there is a kidney failure, there is a coughing in the blood, difficult walking. So these are what particularly more severe symptoms. Common symptoms are particularly similar for the rest of the two viruses. In case of a diagnosis, we use the RT-PCR, where the RNA sample collected, converted into the DNA molecule. Then with the primer label with the particular fluorescent dye, that is the probe, and then amplify. After the amplify, when there is infection, you will get the more intensity of the dye because the DNA is getting amplified. If there is no infection, that means there is no proper fluorescence, there is no viral RNA, so there is no amplification. That is what the basic mechanism nowadays we are doing with the diagnosis by the RT-PCR. Treatment for this COVID-19, there are a lot of practices. In fact, the trial are been undergoing. So most promising is this remdesivir. It is also RNA inhibitor, polymerase inhibitor, protease inhibitor. Certain they are trying. This actually favipiravir is actually a trade name of Fabiplu, produced by the Glenmark India. 5-piravir was banned previously in India, so we have to export from the Japan and the South Korea particularly. Nowadays, this Glenmark, they have got a license from the DGCI, and they will now start the mass production of this. They actually claims to treat the mild or moderate cases only, not the severe one. Again, so this favipiravir actually, when it enters into the host cell, it breaks down into this phosphoribosylated form, and this phosphoribosylated form is actually recognized by the viral polymerase as a substrate. So thereby it inhibits its activity. So there is further no replication or multiplication of the virus. Another, that is Cipla, they have also prepared remdesivir. This is an antiviral drugs known to inhibit the MERS and the Ebola. So are being used by the several countries like China, Japan, South Korea. Most of the European countries they are using nowadays. In India, it was again production was not so allowed permitted. So nowadays, Cipla granted permission. They are producing mass production of this, particularly in the solution form. Price is quite high concern because it's 5,000 per vial. Remdesivir is found to be promising. So nowadays, when we hear that this much number of the patient has been required, it is more because these antiviral drugs are being used in the treatment. Another, this is Patanjali Private Limited. They claims to prepare this corona kit, where they have said 69% patient recovered in 3 days and 100% recovered in 7 days. But their study was with a very small number of sample. So when I searched through this, what exactly in this coronil tablet, it has giloy, tulsi and ashwagandha. So these are already known for the immune boosting. And Swasarini and Anutil, they are already available in the market. So there is no new compound. So whether it is for the immune boosting or for the treatment of the COVID-19 is quite under the circumstances of a doubt. The government of India, they have not given any permission for its mass production. In fact, they are seeking the report from this particular industry limited, and if once they will go through all this, they may will give the permission after checking all the parameters for this. Say we have the myth traditional in every case, in every situation. So in corona situation, so many myth has been reported across the India, where they have says there is no effect of this virus in hot and humid climate. That's not the case. Cold, even intense cold weather or the snow can kill the virus. No, this cannot. Taking bath does not prevent. Taking bath with hot water does not prevent the coronavirus. In fact, they can burn your skin. New coronavirus cannot be transmitted to the mosquito bites. Yes, it's right. There is no evidence that it can transfer through the pets or the animals. UV light is more dangerous. It can cause cancer or skin irritation. So there's no gonna use of this for the corona infection. Garlic is good for the immune boosting, but not for the cure. Spraying alcohol all over the body will cause irritation, rashes. It will not kill the virus. Antibody, it will not against, because since it is a virus, you need antiviral or the vaccines. So till now, we don't have any particular therapy or drugs or the vaccines for this infection. So what we actually do, it is we can protect ourselves by having certain keeping certain social distancing, maintaining practice of personal hygiene, and that's it. We can do this until the vaccines or the drugs can be come forward. Well, thank you all for the patience listening. I again thank you organizers for the giving me this time to share the information about this particular infections. All those who have directly and indirectly supported for this e-webinar, I convey my utmost thank you to all of them. That's it. Thank you.